Our journey begins in the southern Egyptian city of Aswan, a place where ancient history and the timeless waters of the Nile have shaped life for thousands of years. Come and experience these enormous royal columns and ancient hieroglyphics carved into the sandstone walls of Philae Temple. Along the riverbank, there are many boats waiting to carry visitors across the water to one of Egypt's most beautiful temple complexes. The real treasure lies just across the water, an island sanctuary dedicated to one of the most beloved goddesses of ancient Egypt. To reach the temple, every visitor must take a short boat ride across the Nile. As the boat pulls away from the dock, the sounds of the busy shore slowly fade behind us. The cool breeze from the river offers relief from the desert heat, and the landscape opens into a wide expanse of water dotted with rocky islands. For thousands of years, the Nile has been Egypt's lifeline, carrying traders and travelers across its waters. And just like those ancient visitors, we are now approaching a sacred place. From the water as we approach, the view of the temple becomes even more impressive. Curiosity of the unexpected, a bit of anxiety until I am able to see with my own eyes what my ancestors built just a couple of thousand years ago. Stone walls and towering pylons rise above the island, standing proudly against the blue sky. From the moment you step on land, the vibe and the views are amazing. The temple almost seems to emerge directly from the Nile, its massive sandstone structures reflecting the golden color of the desert landscape. But the island we're approaching today is not the temple's original home. The Temple of Philea was built more than 2,000 years ago, during the final centuries of ancient Egyptian civilization. It was dedicated to Isis, the powerful goddess of magic, healing, motherhood, and protection. She was one of the most widely worshipped deities of Egyptian mythology. The temple complex grew over centuries, with rulers from the Potomac and Roman periods adding new buildings, courtyards, and monumental gateways. For generations, the island served as one of the most important religious centers in Egypt. But in the modern era, the temple faced an unexpected threat. In 1902, the construction of the dam near Aswan caused the Nile's water levels to rise. And as a result, the original island of Philae was flooded for much of the year. During certain seasons, the temple stood partially underwater. Over time, the constant flooding began to damage the ancient stone walls and carvings. Then in the 1960s, Egypt began building a much larger dam upstream. Once completed, it would raise the water levels even higher, permanently submerging the temple. To save this historic monument, an international rescue effort was launched. Archaeologists carefully dismantled the entire temple complex, stone by stone. More than 40,000 blocks were numbered, transported, and reconstructed on a nearby island.
You will be guided by two gods here to be actually meeting the god. So the king will be guided by two gods to see the main god which worshipped here. And I said the god was a Nubian one called Fees.
Stepping onto the island, the scale of the temple becomes even more outstanding. Massive stone gateways lead into wide courtyards, surrounded by towering walls, covered in carvings. These ancient reliefs show scenes of Egyptian rulers presenting offerings to the gods, performing sacred rituals, and celebrating divine protection. Each wall tells a story. Each story describes a ceremony. Entering inside the temple corridors felt like stepping back into time. Deeper inside the complex, rows of decorated columns lead into darker chambers that were once accessible only to priests. These inner sanctuaries once held sacred statues of the goddess Isis. Sunlight pours into the open courtyards, while the inner rooms remain cool and shadowed, creating an atmosphere that still feels mysterious and sacred today. It's easy to imagine the rituals that once took place here. The chanting of priests, the burning of incense, and the quiet devotion of worshipers who traveled long distances to reach this island. Perhaps the most remarkable part of this temple story is that it almost disappeared beneath the waters of the Nile. Without the massive international effort to relocate it, the Temple of Philae would now lie hidden underwater. Instead, thanks to the careful work of archaeologists and engineers, this ancient sanctuary was given a second life. Today, It stands once again above the river, preserved for future generations to explore and admire. As the sun moves across the stone walls and the Nile flows quietly around the island, the Temple of Philae remains a powerful reminder of Egypt's extraordinary past, still standing today.